All right, good evening. Good evening, everyone. This is Jazz Ballinger, life coach, certified life coach, and I am so grateful to be able to share with you on tonight about we're going to talk about forgiveness. We're going to talk about forgiveness, especially as it relates to the marriage supper. We want to ensure we want to ensure that we are walking in humility, we're being clothed in humility, and that we are walking with a heart that is capable to receive and to also limit offense. In the coming days, I'm going to share aspects of my journey of what it it was like of being I say a sophisticated prodigal, sometimes a ghetto prodigal, sometimes a churchy prodigal. I'll get into that later. Um, and when I say churchy, like having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. Um, you know, so I know what it's like to be a prodigal, but I also know what it's like to be in covenant with God and having and wanting people, I should say, um, looking at the way people have treated prodigals in their time of truly, honestly, the having the enemy, the devil, be their father versus God, their father. And how the lack of compassion, the lack of boundaries, and the lack of putting oneself, having empathy can really make a prodigal turn their back again to God and the lies that the enemy put in the mind of that prodigal already, like the thoughts of, I'm not going to be received when I come back, or they're not going to forgive me, or, all the things that I said and did, all these things that the enemy will conjure up in the mind of a prodigal. It is so important that the one that is in covenant with God, or the one that is standing for the God ordained spouse, that they have compassion and have willing to get instruction from Holy Spirit, willing to be corrected by Holy Spirit on how to receive and celebrate. But I want to move forward on forgiveness. In Mark 11, the 24th verse to be exact, I'm going to pull it up here. I have it on my Bible app, so hopefully this is recording even as I'm on here. Okay, guys, sorry about that. But yeah, it's basically saying um, that trespassing is a boundary that has been crossed. It is a boundary, a sin, a fault, an offense um, that has already been communicated. Like once you cross this, then this is where we stand. And I think what's important when it comes down to God ordained spouses and this miracle marriage supper is there's going to be a lot of forgiveness. It's going to have to transpire in your walk and in your relationship. There will be times because both of you have two different backgrounds, two different upbringings, and of course the goal is God's greatest goal is to present one another um, as your best selves. But the truth of the matter is, let me speak in two different terms. If you're already know who your God ordained spouse is, but you're not married, um, you're gonna have to develop a heart to forgive. I'm not saying not set boundaries and have accountability and set some standards, but you will have to be able to forgive your spouse who may be asleep, who does not recognize you as the rib or as the helpmeet. And you have to forgive them because they may reject you, they may overlook you, they may be overlooking you now and leaning over to the counterfeit, they may be, or counterfeits, come on, they may be um, focused on the fact that you don't look a certain way, you're not the type that they wanted, but you are the type that God has called you to be, the type that He's fashioning you to be. Because as we talked about in prior videos, that God has put eternity inside of all of us. And so in that is encompassed your God ordained spouse. And so you will be what your spouse needs for the purpose and the calling in your life. But if that prodigal is already asleep, and this is for the one that is um, the believing God ordained spouse who is in covenant with God, you have to literally go about your day, focus on what's important and what you need to do, but also be mindful of having to forgive this person for them not knowing what they're doing, for them slandering or talking bad about you, or believing the lies of the enemy about who you are, not believing that you are true or a good person. Um, so you have to forgive, because if you don't forgive, you don't want bitterness to set up in your heart. You don't want anger, malice, frustration, and you don't want spite to set in your heart because they're not seeing you or value yet, or they're not communicating their true heart, their true thoughts and feelings towards you because they have shut that side of them down. For they know if they walk in that truth, then they have to surrender their pride. You know what I mean? Like they don't want their pride to go because they're big, bad, and tough. But they don't understand what they don't understand is that when God is a covenant keeping God. And let me go in this direction. God is such a covenant keeping God that in time they are going to appreciate, and they probably appreciate it now. They just have will not express it to you right now, or not yet. But God is such a covenant keeping God. There is going to come a time when they're going to come to you and apologize for their behavior or their lack of understanding or the scales being on their eyes and them not able to see. But it is your responsibility to forgive them now for the boundaries that they've crossed. Forgive them now for them for what they know not of. Okay, because there is coming a day when they will come to you and literally sit with you and communicate with you and say, let you know really what was going on. And when that time comes, it is your role. Here's instruction of wisdom. It is your role to be still, be kind, and listen. For the women, be kind. The helpmeets, be kind and listen. Do not attack and do not say, well, why I've been waiting for your apology all this time anyway. Do not do that. For the men, do not be harsh to the women or to your woman, your helpmeet that is will be returning back to you. Sit and listen all the way through and be attentive and be kind. But also make sure for both men and women that are the believing spouses, be sure to set those levels of accountability and be vulnerable enough to say, thank you for coming to me and sharing with me when the time comes, because it's going to happen. Thank you for coming and sharing with me your heart and for forgiving me, and I do forgive you. Moving forward, um, let's strategize a ways on how we can be accountable to one another and moving like that, because it's very important. This process is a faith process. It's a faith walk. Miracle marriage supper, the fact that God is going to perform a miracle. This is a miracle. Your marriage is a miracle. Do you know God has called you and prepared you for this at the beginning of time? Everything that you've gone through, every yes, every no, every form of betrayal, every form of misunderstanding in your walk, in your nature, was preparing you for this. All the job losses, the repossessions, the evictions, the moments when you were hearing from God and you had to let go, you had to move on and forsake people, and you didn't understand why, but you knew you heard God. All of those moments was preparing you for now. The times when God was challenging you to take this class and do this particular um, project, or go on this particular mission trip, or take on this particular um, job or project, or whatever it was. All of it was God preparing you and building your skill sets for the one that He has predestined, according to Jeremiah 29:11. The one He predestined, His best choice for you. This is His best choice for you. You're just in a position right now in this season of your life where God is preparing you. You're in a position where God is making you ready. Maybe He's already said, and I believe He said to some of you all, you are ready. So let's just keep your heart pure. Let's keep your heart in check. Forgive, because your spouse is coming home. He is coming home. She is coming home. So you don't want them to come home and you are bitter and full of malice, and you're not working in the assignment, and you're not preparing an environment of love, celebration, and peace and tranquility. And they come home to you um, projecting your offense on them. That's going to turn them all the way back around to the other door. Um, so with that being stated, forgive, 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 and forgive yourself. In this journey, you may have needed to forgive yourself some things that you said and did and done, and even told God that you did not want. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for what you did not understand and what you did not know. Forgive yourself. Get up and move on, because you have work to do. God is preparing you, and He is positioned you for your miracle marriage. All right. You all take care, and I look forward to speaking with you guys on the next video. Much peace. Bye bye.